The Israeli government is considering extending an emergency law that delays the age military reservists can retire from the service. Now, that's as a committee is discussing making conscription mandatory for ultra-Orthodox religious students. Under the proposal, the bill would extend the exemption by 6 months, and that would mean enlisted soldiers serve until they're 41 instead of 40. Now, for officers, the age would be 46. And specialists, including doctors and aircrew members, would have to continue serving until they're 50 instead of 49. Meron Rapoport is a political commentator and editor of Local Call, a Hebrew-language news site, and joins us now from Tel Aviv. Mr. Rapoport, thanks for joining us on the programme. Can we just begin with this extension of the conscription law in terms of those that have to serve it? Another year added to that possibility, which means that those that have to serve, you might say, won't be given that get-out-of-jail card. They will have to serve it.
Yes, there is certainly a need for more personnel in the Israeli army, and we see it in different phases, conscription, reservists. Israel is in need, both because the Israeli army suffered quite heavy losses since October 7, and because it is fighting for nearly 9 months into France, in Gaza and in the north. So, yes, the Israeli army, the Israeli Defense Ministry, just needs more soldiers.
Indeed, how much does this play into, you might say, the public psyche, that if you have such losses within the Israeli military and then you have the government saying that more people are required and they will have to serve longer, does this actually create more tension between administrators, lawmakers and the public?
Yes, certainly. I think the fact that the government, right-wing coalition, is dependent on the ultra-Orthodox parties, two ultra-Orthodox parties comprising for 17 Knesset members, parliament members. They are dependent on them, and they refuse to go to service. They want to go to yeshivas, to religious schools. They want the young people to stay there, and it creates a lot of anger, even among right-wing supporters that do go to the army. I'm talking about non-religious, about secular Jews who are voting for the right, or even religious people who go to the army, the right-wing religious parties that go to the army. Then there is a rift that is becoming deeper and deeper. This is extremely unpopular in Israel, and the war and the heavy losses of the army and the fact that people are serving also in the reserve for half a year, of course, makes it, this tension, the internal tension, even higher.
Mr. Rapoport, if you just hold it there for a second, because I just want to allow you to listen to a SOT, along with our international audience, from the Hamas leader, Ismail Haniyeh, and the group's response to the ceasefire proposal being consistent with that of the principles of Joe Biden's plan. Let's just listen to what he had to say.
Hamas showed great seriousness and flexibility in order to reach an agreement that would spare the blood of our Palestinian people and stop the Israeli aggression. This was reflected in our acceptance of what was mentioned by President Joe Biden in his speech, as well as our welcome to the Security Council resolution that was issued a few days ago. We gave our response to the mediators through a joint delegation between us and our brothers in the Islamic Jihad movement in Qatar. Our response is consistent with the principles put forward by President Biden's speech and with the Security Council's resolution regarding the 3 stages of the deal and the terms of the ceasefire.
So, Mr. Rapoport, there is yet another, you might say, problem to the discourse within Israel, is that we have this ongoing statement from Hamas saying that we agree to the ceasefire deal as proposed by the US, but you have your own Prime Minister and members of the Israeli cabinet saying, no, we haven't signed up to this. This creates more confusion again within the Israeli population. How is that playing out?
It is a very strange situation. There is some kind of smoke screen by the Israeli government. On the one hand, they are saying, we have accepted Biden's proposal. On the other hand, they're telling the public that they will never accept a permanent ceasefire, and they will never accept any ceasefire that will not include the capitulation of Hamas. So it's really very unclear. And when Secretary of State Blinken is saying that Israel has accepted and Hamas no, I think he's saying very incorrect things, because it is quite clear that the current Israeli government, with Ben Gvir and Smotrich, the extreme right, will never accept a permanent ceasefire. It will never happen. They will withdraw from the government if such a thing happens. So Blinken is not telling the truth when he's saying that Israel has accepted it, because he knows that this right-wing government will never accept it. There's a lot of confusion here. I think the Israeli public is, some of it, a lot of the Israeli public, I cannot say numbers in a percentage, but large part of the Israeli public are fed up with the war, are tired of the war, wants the hostage back, want a deal, want an end to the war, not for moralistic reasons, I have to say, but for a practical reason, because they don't see any advantage in the war, and the fact that soldiers are being killed. And only in the last, yesterday, 10 soldiers were killed in one day. And that's almost 90 months after the beginning of the war. It makes, puts more pressure on the government. There were quite large demonstrations yesterday in Tel Aviv and in other cities. So, and the position, the very ambiguous position of the US, that on the one hand still says there is a chance for a ceasefire, and on the other is saying Israel accepted, Hamas no, makes the situation even more ambiguous and unclear. If the US would have said, we push the two sides for a ceasefire today, I think it has the power to do it, to pressure Israel and Hamas to a ceasefire if it wants to, but it's very hesitant, the US, to say Israel has refused a ceasefire. I think Blinken does not want to see himself.
Indeed, it is a very flexible situation right now. I suppose we'll just have to keep an eye on what is said and look through it with a very fine magnifying glass as time progresses. For the moment, Meron Rapoport, thanks so much for joining us from Tel Aviv.
Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.